Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing so well today. This is Pterozactyl and I'm Zac. I'm a clairvoyant psychic and I share my gift to bring out the best in yours. In this video, I wanted to show you guys what was next on your spiritual path. And today, I gave you guys a little bit of a glimpse into my garden, and that's how I made this little bouquet, which is kind of basically like an energetic vessel for today's reading. So let's get down to choosing these piles. Pile 1 is going to be lavender. Okay, pile 1 is the lavender. And pile 2 is going to be the salvia. Alright, the salvia is pile 2, which leaves pile 1 with the... Pile 3. Pile 3 is mint. Before you guys choose your piles, it's always a great idea to ground your energy, because when you ground your energy, it gives us the best chance to link up in time and space so that I can pull through the most accurate and useful information. So take a couple deep breaths, maybe turn the lights down low, light a couple candles. That process will look a little different for each of you, but once your energy is grounded, choose between the piles intuitively, and I will meet you at your reading. Hey Pile 1, welcome to your reading. I hope you guys are doing so well today. So you guys are my first pile that I'm experimenting with this reading. So that's cool. Excited to try this reading with you guys. So we're going to take a look at your spiritual path. And the first thing I want to look at is what's next. What's next? What's next on your spiritual path? So let's tune into that. This could be anything, you guys. It could be something small, something big, something super spiritual, maybe something more mundane. Oh, wow, look at that. So cool. I love the imagery of this. You know, I didn't know how many cards popped out. We have a rainbow, and I was like, what's on the other side? And it's the moon, and the moon reveals secrets. And so the first message coming through is something about the rainbow is in front of this, okay? So, all right, something about an illusion. Okay, illusion, but illusion covering secrets. That's interesting. Very interesting. Something else coming through is that this rainbow, this moment of sheer joy, domestic bliss, happiness, real good times, seems to be the key to unlocking the moon. And the moon is revealing secrets, revealing something. And what's curious is that I asked specifically for this reading about your spiritual path. And then in this question, what's next? And I love to see a real distinction of that path right there. So that's really cool. So it's something about happiness and joy, something about being in the present moment and loving where you're at in life is next on your spiritual path. Okay, so I see something to do with your home or your emotional body and wanting to make sure that your emotional body is a home, is a place of refuge, is a place that you can rely on. So this could be a little bit about knowing yourself more, knowing yourself a little bit more deeply. Now, for some of us, this kind of looks like being curious about ourselves, kind of like wanting to know a little bit more about your soul's mission on Earth, is a message that just came through. I feel like there's something about discernment, and there's something about your energy and your vibration being a key to unlocking a hidden mystery or a secret. Okay? So these cards, they flopped out, and I don't always take cards that do that. I love it. I love that there were just two, and I wanted to know behind the rainbow is what you've been looking for. So I feel like there's something about having to embrace this present moment of your life with open arms for all of it, for, loving the light as much as the dark elements of your life. So again, even if it's things in relationships, career, finances, spirituality, etc., even if we don't have everything that we desire, I feel like there's a message coming through about like a certain amount of joy. There's like a certain amount of joy to be extracted from this current situation. And living fully in this moment is going to reveal something. So perhaps you guys have been feeling this like desire for more or to experience more, and you just have this like sense of like, all right, let's bring things to a different level. We want to like root down in the joy that exists already, because that has something to do with your path. Okay. There's another message for someone in here coming through about like having arrived, like having made it on the other side. I feel like you guys, maybe some of you have been in the dark about your life path, or have really been going through some sort of test, some trial of strength, some trial of will, and you have arrived, and you have to realize this. One message that comes through from Spirit often on this channel is that sometimes we get to where we've always wanted, but we just identify the next thing on the path. And sometimes it's going to be hidden from us, like the moon suggests. Sometimes that next thing is going to be hidden because we don't want to stride on by, right? That would be the energy of the Eight of Cups. And I'm getting that energy because if I extracted both of these tens, it leaves us with an 8. This moon is an 18. And the Eight of Cups is oftentimes talking about leaving something very emotional, but it also can talk to me about striding right on by something that's very good. And so your spirit guides want you to develop presence right now in your life, because there's like a lot of beauty to extract. There's something about a lot of beauty and things to appreciate. Good times, right? It feels like you guys have reached a milestone in your life, and it's time to celebrate that. This Ten of Cups, it's been coming up a lot this week, and I feel like there's just this level of decreased stress. I feel like you guys are experiencing a little less stress, less fatigue, less burnout, and feeling just good. And this is a really beautiful vibration. But it's sometimes the world, and because of the world that we live in, we like to just push through and always bring in more. And we're souls, we're just having a human experience. And so that desire you have to experience more is like your soul's innate nature. Like you could have anything in the world, experience anything in the world from a soul's perspective always. But sometimes in this 3D realm on Earth, we we sense that, and so we keep pushing. But there's also things that, perpetuate that kind of energy, like capitalism and hustle culture, etc. So the real message coming from spirit is something about, illusion, something about like, if you were thinking that there was more, I feel like right now, what you're experiencing, where you live, the relationships you have, there's something very beautiful about the balance going on. And I think that that's kind of what's being revealed right now. And for others of you, really rooting into this moment and experiencing it is going to be the key that unlocks something next on your path. So the big message from Spirit right off for pile 1. What's next on the spiritual path? It's interesting. It says it's right here, right now. This isn't kind of like a prediction energy. What I'm feeling like is that Spirit just wants you to kind of open your eyes to what exists right now, because there's a lot more beauty than we can perceive at the present moment. And that's a good message. Let's get maybe something else with, okay, so we have Mars in Virgo. Is that Virgo? It's Virgo. Okay. You guys, I always confuse Virgo and Scorpio. And I'm like, whoever created these signs, there's only 12. Like, there's only 12 forever. Why did we have to make Scorpio and Virgo so similar? I don't know. I always think about that. Okay, so what's popping first is kind of like this hand right here, which looks very similar to the hands on the Ace of Cups or the Ace of Pentacles, any of the aces in the Rider-Waite version of the tarot, kind of coming in from the side, very direct and pointing, okay? Pointing towards this woman with wheat in her hair that symbolizes abundance. And then we have an eye right above. I'm going to call it a cornucopia, even though it's not. It's just a lot of beauty, okay? And it's almost like, hey, look right here, look right now. Like, if there's a different version of yourself that you want to experience in the future, you have to love who you are right now first and like really celebrate that, because that's the catalyst, right? For some of us, it's a key. For some of us, it's a catalyst. And Spirit just wants you to turn your attention to who you are right now, because I feel like you're in a state of mind, or you're in a place in your life that you wanted to be in for a while. It was a dream of yours in the past, especially if some of you like to scribe. I feel like you wrote down some major aspect of your life that you're experiencing right now as a desire. You scribed about this, and it exists right now. And Spirit just wants you to recognize your ability as a manifester and your ability to create any experience that you wish to experience. But it's almost like we're kind of like not looking at it, right? Because we have this huge hand from Spirit, and we have this figure kind of looking on in a way. And it's almost like this person can't even see this hand right here. Right? There's a huge giant hand from Spirit, and this person's like, whatever. Kind of boxed off, kind of like laser focused on something else, even though there's abundance all around, as evidenced by this wheat shaft right here. Okay, we also have that illustrated again with this eye. It's completely removed from everything. Okay, I'm also hearing a quick message for someone here: flowers and cultivating arrangements. This is such a specific message. There's something to do with flowers that really awakens your third eye. Okay, but what I was saying was that this eye, it's got this beautiful arrangement of flowers, but it couldn't be bothered. It's looking over here, a little removed from what's right there in front of them. So this message from Spirit, it does really much. It really feels like we just want you to take a look around you, right? Take a look if you guys garden, take a look at your garden, take a look at your house. This could also be like maybe doing something to get yourself grounded. Okay, I feel like maybe a lot of us spend a lot of time in the upper chakras, and what Spirit is showing me is that that can make us feel detached, and it's all coming back to that first message that the rainbow, which reminds me of Dragonfly, which talks about illusion. The illusion was in front of the moon, which talks about secrets and what's hidden. And that's just a very, very interesting energy. And so I feel like your happiness and your ideal and your supreme like dream, it's already here. Like right now, you're already doing it. And so there's something about your spiritual path that has to do with realizing that you've made it. Like you're on your path. If you had any question about if you're on the right path, there should be nothing in your mind that would make you think otherwise. And this reading is supposed to sort of get you to recognize that. So we want to draw attention to the lower chakras, so doing things in the tangible Earth 3D realm that puts us back on Earth, because something there serves as a catalyst to say, oh, wow, like I do have it really good right now. Things really are good right now. I think I was really, really involved in my upper chakras, and I think that caused some sort of illusion or detachment. So Spirit's just trying to get you to refocus and kind of give you a little bit of a perspective here. There was another message. What was that? Oh, it was like something 3D with the home. Okay, so like bringing flowers into the home, making an effort to decorate for the holidays if you guys celebrate, just renewing something in the home. This could be painting one room or going antique shopping and finding a new little side table. Maybe doing a little research into feng shui and changing the energy about your space. Getting in the garden. If you guys don't have access to a garden, thinking about some window boxes. Something very 3D and tangible. Yeah. Okay. Because I feel like there is a lot, right? That first message, it's coming through again. There's a lot of beauty already. It's already here. It's right here, right now. And a little bit kind of what you've always wished for. And we just want you to focus on that. So yeah, that's what's next on your spiritual path. Okay. So let's move forward. Let's see what's important for you on your path. Okay, now I'm going to try something a little different. Usually I would draw cards, more cards, but I got a message like over the last couple days, and I feel like I might kind of just, you know how you guys, I love different lenses, and I always reach for new cards, but I'm thinking about like looking at the cards that I've already drawn through different lenses instead of reaching for them. You know, I can always reach for more, but I'm going to try to answer this question first by using what's already on the table. So what's important for you on your path? I think it's the fine details and it's the little wins. Just give me 2 seconds. I want to take a little sip of coffee. Okay. All right. So, yeah, it's like the little things are so important for you. The little wins. I'm picking up on like a rainbow. You know, that happens like once in a while and it's intangible. It's there and then it's gone. And then a flower, you know, so beautiful, and you've got to appreciate it while it's there before it's gone. Even a candle can only last so long. And I'm picking up on all these little droplets of gold coming from this sun moon. It's a very small, fine detail, almost like a sparkle. And there's all these cool little crazy looking mushrooms that are on the water's edge. They fruit for just a few, sometimes hours before they start wilting. So there's something about appreciating the fleeting moments. Yeah, the little details, the little things. This is super important for pile one on your spiritual path. I think that sometimes we have a tendency to overlook things and almost take on like too broad of a perspective. And I think it's because you guys really like the upper chakras and doing work there. Yeah, I mean, of course, we love things that remind us of magic and life beyond this incarnation. So that's totally normal. I don't want to call anyone out there, but I think that that's why it's important for you to appreciate the little things, like how the sunlight dapples on the palm fronds, or your rhododendron bush blossoming for a second time that year, or the way the sunlight streams through the windows and perfectly hits your crystals, or you're at the beach and you find the most beautiful piece of a shell fragment or sea glass, and it's like there's something really deep in there that I'm touching, because it's circled in the color purple. I'm just trying to tell you guys what I'm seeing clairvoyantly, and it's like there's like, it feels like karma there a little bit, you guys. We have a tendency not to look at that as important, but it's like that's what is important. Especially if you guys sometimes struggle with boredom or fatigue or burnout or lack of creativity or inspiration, ideas like that. It's this thing that I see us doing where we swoop almost too far out, and we're like, if we could just get to here with this and that under our belt and have this on our plate, then we'll feel this idea of happiness and success. But it's almost like you've already done it all, or you haven't missed a single lesson, not even one. And so that's the message. You haven't missed a single lesson so far, at whatever age you're at. You haven't missed a single one of them. And so, yeah, I hope this is making sense, you guys. Try to focus a lot on the little details and the little things, and this might look like shifting your pace to slow down a bit at times to appreciate the little fine details of life, like a shirt that fits perfectly, or, like a cup of coffee that tastes exceptionally good. That once in a while, like maybe once a week, you'll brew your same cup of coffee, but that day it's like, oh, this tastes really good today. I'm seeing that. That's really important for you on your path, okay? So, what should you avoid is the next question. And what I'm sensing is to keep looking at these cards. I want to keep looking at them. We might draw some more. We might. So what should you avoid? I feel like there's something to do with fear and insecurities and anxieties. And yeah, okay. And I'm seeing that as being, Spirit is showing me grit with an oyster, and it turns it into a pearl. So to me, that's talking about a catalyst. So I feel like there are sometimes ungrounded fears or undigested thoughts or disconnected thoughts or anxieties, insecurities, fears that push us forward because you sense that you're losing time, or you're out of time, or you're missing out on something that someone else is experiencing. I feel like sometimes this fear of missing out as well is coming through. Sometimes all of these emotions can drive us forward like a catalyst, but there's no need for that. is how this is coming through, because there's something, not even something, everything right now is beautiful and perfect and deserves attention. And so I feel like if there's a lot of urges to just keep going and experience a lot more, I think what your spirit guides are showing me is that it's time to sort of register those feelings with yourself, like your authentic core. So really get rooted and grounded. That's becoming a cliche. I'm just really heed that advice. When you're rooted and grounded, then you can sort of take those anxieties, fears, insecurities, put them inwards and sit with them and see if that's something you actually need to experience in order to feel happy. Ask yourself, is that an authentic desire, or am I trying to experience something else because I feel like that's necessary? Like I feel like I'm missing out on that, or I won't have a complete life if I don't have that, or I gotta have that because everyone else is doing that, experiencing that, feeling that. And so we want to make sure that fear and insecurities, they're not the catalyst that push you forward. They're just there to be dealt with. Okay. Now, what else? What else to avoid on your path? I think the moon is popping the most. Okay. And there's the exchange between the domesticated dog and the wolf. Okay. And I think that to me is talking about light and dark. And I think what Spirit is showing me is the importance of just being. This is really important to your soul, to have it come through this often. Just being. So not needing it to be right or wrong. Not needing to... not trying to make something correct or incorrect. Black and white binary thinking is what we need to avoid in this lifetime. A thought that's coming through is the highest form of intelligence is the ability to observe without judgment. That's really hard to do. I try to do that often, but I'm an artist, and so I appraise everything, even if it's not in a judgmental way. It's always like, oh, that light looks beautiful. I wish it was hitting this branch too, or something like that. So what Spirit is showing me is like, there's really something about kind of like taking a step back. And this is not from a broader perspective, that needs to be said. Taking a step back and looking at things through a slightly different way, such that everything mundane becomes magical. And this isn't like to disillusion yourself. This is to try to take things on from a broader perspective in a spiritual sense. Okay. I was holding on to that train of thought. I think I'm going to let it slip away. But there is something about what you need to avoid. It's like not making things out to be an enemy just because they're different, especially different people's ways of thinking. That shouldn't rattle you, and we shouldn't pit that against ourselves as right or wrong. Spirit is also showing me to like make a lot of decisions based on what you feel. And if that differs from what society says, that's fine. Even if it's like something that's widely accepted, but there's something in you that just rejects it, your authentic response is far more valuable than the herd mentality. Okay. What to avoid? I think too much, upper chakra business, okay? Because the moon also talks about psychic ability and enhanced intuition. I'm seeing this concept of the arms open wide and heaven's gates open wide, and it's like that creates a channel that's like a waterfall. And so if you engage in spiritual work and spiritual practices and magic too often, right? Life's a balance. Too often, it's like, how can you breathe if you're standing under a waterfall? And I think it can really lift you guys out of the 3D and cause you to detach. So Spirit just wants you to be aware of that. So this is having times in your life where you're not open to messages from Spirit, right? I know that might sound a little funny. This is times when you are just literally in the 3D, right? That's like baking or like indulging in food, indulging in sun, indulging in passions, passion pursuits, where you're not at all trying to be spiritual. You're just trying to live that human experience. That's super important. Right? So having times where we're not wide open to everything that comes through, and we're not always trying to do magic and things like that. There's a good balance there. Avoid like A or B, right? Avoid whole hog approaches to life. Something right down the middle would be the very best for you guys. You might have a tendency to be, it's like all or nothing is coming through. And that's coming through as what to avoid. Because I feel like it uproots too much. And I don't want you guys to think that this is like a boring approach to life. And it's not something you have to do every single day. Okay? Sorry, I'm stopping myself from sharing a message. It was just like the concept of a monk. Right? I don't want you to have to like think, and that's not at all what I'm saying. It's just develop boundaries with yourself when it comes to how you approach relationships, how you approach spirituality, how you approach your career. I think there's a focus of black and white, and we want to kind of erode that, dissolve that. All right? Okay, so let's move forward. So how can you trust that you're on the right path? You guys are on the right path always. That should not be something that you are concerned about. One thing that's coming through right away is that you'll have this moment multiple times a day where you're just like, oh, that's beautiful. Or that was a really nice thing for her to say. Or you'll be standing in line at the grocery store and see someone who in another line doesn't look so happy, and you find yourself, sending them a little energy, and you don't think twice about it. And you do this often, certainly more than once or twice a week. That's when you can, recognize that you really are on the right path because you're very, very present. I also think that another way that you can trust that you're on the right path is that you feel when you're really on intuitively, when your psychic ability really is sharp, when your intuition is really sharp, and you don't question whether that's right, whether that's intuition, or whether that was fear or insecurity coming through. You can also trust that you're on the right path when you find that there is no relationship in your life that's taking from your energy. You may not entertain a lot, like many, many, many relationships, but you are going to find that you can trust that you're on the right path when you're surrounded by people who uplift you as well, when you're surrounded by people who don't take from your energy, and just when things just seem good, right? Seem very pleasant, not really concerned about gossip, not really concerned about anyone's opinion, not trying to block anyone's opinion, but you recognize within yourself that it doesn't matter what someone else is thinking, because that is happening outside of you, and you just need to be concerned about what's happening within. All right. So that seems pretty good. I want to do one last question for you guys. It's going to be a message from your spiritual team. So let's get a different deck. I'm going to move these. All right, Spirit. So this is for pile 1. I just wanted to do like a message, just a message for them. It feels like this guy. Vision Quest. Okay. I just heard get off the treadmill, and so that always, especially paired with this card, there's something about taking in the view, right? Taking in the view. There was also that message I got early on about somehow flowers open the third eye. Okay, so if some of you are thinking about doing peyote or marijuana to have a spiritual experience, or psilocybin, yeah, because we got all those little mushrooms down there. If you've been very curious, maybe even feeling a little bit stuck, maybe even a little bit resisting the messages that were coming through today, I feel like what Spirit is telling me is that a vision quest is on your horizon. What I love is that we're talking about your spiritual path, and I really feel like there is something to be had with a vision quest. Now, you do not need to use plant medicines to go on a vision quest. My great aunt suggests fasting and just a proper mindset and a location in nature in order to have a vision quest. But you guys, there was something about the illusion revealing a secret. And a rainbow, think about it, kind of like, yes, it's there, but not really at the same time, which is making me think of all the neuropathic and chemical connections in the mind that cause hallucinations or psilocybin trips. This doesn't have to be your cup of tea, just listen to the energy behind this. So all those things that are happening in the mind, it's kind of like an illusion, right? A make-believe or hallucination. It reveals something very deep, right? Maybe even what you're meant to do in this lifetime or what's next. Okay, something about no rain, no flowers. So something needs to be purified. I just think that the fact that these cards off camera, behind the purification in the rain equals submerged. It's another message about, let's call this a rainbow, okay? Clearing away something, and then to reveal what's hidden, right? The moon, again, what's below the surface, what's hidden. And then the iceberg, this little piece right here, how gigantic is this? Yet, and we know that there is 10 times more ice underneath the water. And so what Spirit is showing me is that there is something about a vision quest, getting very quiet, getting out of the upper chakras and getting very grounded in order to reveal something to you. So if you guys have been feeling called to go on a spiritual retreat, feeling called to do psilocybin, a guided meditation, anything like this, that's what your spiritual team wants to leave you with. So yeah, that feels very, very specific. Okay, so I don't want to leave you guys. We're going to do one more card. I'm going to draw an animal spirit guide. Maybe just a little bit of a parting message here. Okay. So, Spirit, for pile 1, please. You have the raccoon. This talks about family. It's another 10. Something to do with family here. Could be healing family karma with this vision quest. It could be something along the lines of creating boundaries with people in the family. And it could also be a message about a soul family. Okay? It also is a message about making sure that your needs are met first. Okay? Without forgetting that there are important people in your life, like friends, that we have to take care of from time to time and tend to. I think you, a couple years ago, used to give a lot of energy to other people, and you're coming into a much better place, because when you are constantly giving, you can't, you just constantly empty your well, and there's nothing to give back to yourself. And that can really cause you to feel out of body or disconnected. But when you have your well full, your cup is full, you feel very good. Not only is it easier to give to other people, but the quality that you give, whether that's advice or support or love, is a much higher quality. Instead of reaching and dredging the very bottom of your well, you're able to skim off the top, and it's like the cream rises to the top is what Spirit's showing me. And that cream is what you can give to other people instead of sour milk. Okay, so you guys, I believe that this is the end of your reading. This was all about your spiritual path and what's next, and I hope that these messages were helpful. I want to thank you guys for spending a little bit of your time with me. Of course, I book private clients. If you'd like to book your own private psychic reading, you can find that information down below. If you'd like to book a private video tarot reading much like this, I offer those in video format, text, and audio. You can find all of that information down below. And I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, stay divine. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. I hope you guys are doing so well today. We're going to look at your spiritual path, and first, I want to know what's next. What's next on your spiritual path? So this is for Pile 2. Let's see. Ooh, you guys have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so the first thing that's coming through for you, Pile 2, is there is something new to learn. I love to see this. Okay, this doesn't necessarily, to me, say a career change, but this could be picking up a passion project, or I'm really getting learning something new. For some of you, this could take form in the way of an internship. For others of you, this is like studying something on your own. Okay, some of you might want to study plant medicine, some of you want to study astrology, some of you want to study biomechanics, some of you want to study the body. Okay, so what Spirit is showing me is that there's something new to learn, and I feel like that's, all of life. All throughout life there is something new to learn, but for you guys right now, what's next on your spiritual path? Something new. I love it. That's new. New and new matches. Let's pull you. Achievement. Ooh, okay. With Sun in Capricorn. Okay, I like to see this because it's an earth element, which goes well with the pentacles here. And so I feel like there's something about success, because we have the 10th house there talks about career, reputation, those kind of elements. And what I love to see is that we have a really simple pentacle right here with a pentagram on top. We'll just call that a star though. And if we take a look right here, we have a really, really elaborate one. It almost looks like a sun, but what Spirit is showing me is that these two are parallel. And I feel like there's something in this rudimentary approach that over time is going to reveal something really interesting. I love to see the transformation from the sketch of a pentacle turning into this huge, beautiful, elaborate disc. So something about little steps right now, that's the energy of Capricorn. And I'm picking up on this creepy looking sphinx thing. It's like half dog, half lamb. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm seeing it as. I'm almost looking at that as something to ride. So there's an energy of the Knight of Pentacles too. And I'm saying that because I see this emphasis of going from something like first grade into high school. And I'm picking up on this very slow moving statue could be that very slow plow horse that the Knight of Pentacles is on. So something about little steps, because we have Capricorn energy too, revealing something about you and your path and your purpose on earth, because that's the sun. with self-awareness. So there's something that you guys are learning next. On your path, there's something that you guys have to learn. Cool. So that makes sense. It might be taking a skill set that you have to the next level. Because I feel like there's something that you guys have dabbled in before. You've definitely done this before. You have a little bit of a knack for this, but we want to take it to the next level. And almost sort of like a graduation standpoint. I'm seeing K through 12. So Spirit wants you to focus on growing this knowledge set. For some of you, it is a skill set. Growing this knowledge or skill set into a graduation point. So, okay, just to illustrate this, think about someone who takes writing lessons and they're doing walk trot classes. What Spirit wants to see is not only walk trot canter, but you at a horse show showing off the ability to do walk trot canter and maybe even jumping. So there's something about going in a very, very low set of knowledge or experience in this one talent or pursuit into a lot more. Going from just an outline, a brief sketch, into a complex novel is what's coming through. So cultivating something, it does feel like set of knowledge. So there must be something that you guys have been attracted to lately. And it's in the back of your mind. You're like, yeah, whenever I have, the right energy and a lot of time off, I might pursue that. Spirit wants you to take a second look at that, okay? It has something to do with something you're supposed to achieve over time. I'd like to see that. Cool. Let's reach for another tarot card. I'm just going to pull right off the top again. We have the Queen of Cups with the emphasis on the really elaborate chalice that she has. So unlike any of the other cups, she has the most beautiful chalice there. It's, adorned with 2 angels as well. Certainly the most beautiful cup, even more beautiful than what the King of Cups has, and even more beautiful than the Ace of Cups. And this talks to me about that gift of yours. There's a gift of yours that Spirit wants you to focus on. I'm hearing embellishing, but not the translation, just improving, building upon, strengthening this ability of yours, because it's meant to be shared. And you're going to achieve a certain level of success and recognition for this, but that's not the purpose. It's almost like it just happens as a result. For some of you, because I was talking about like a brief sketch turning into a novel, you guys could be interested or curious about creative writing or writing a book or writing about your experiences. And I think you've dabbled in that in the past, and it's time to turn that manuscript into a polished novel. Okay, there's definitely something to be improved on and learned and studied. So think about this, pile 2. Where does that fit into your life? Where do you know? You just have this inner knowing. You're like, that's what I really should be studying or focusing on. If you can't identify something right now, what Spirit is telling me is really soon, very shortly, within a month, you're going to know what this is. It's going to be revealed. It's the next thing to look forward to on your spiritual path. And it's going to require a lot to do with authenticity. So it feels like your unique mark, your stamp. Spirit is showing me an artist signature. And so we want you to learn this skill, learn this set of knowledge, and then build upon it, right? So it's like you take a class and you learn about, oh my gosh, why is this, of all things, coming through? Physics, okay? You're learning about physics. And you took a class on physics, but then it's like writing a journal or for a publication about something very specific, like your own experiment, right? So you take that knowledge that you learned in a class and then you do an experiment and you get it peer reviewed and you publish that. That's like the big picture if we're to look at this. So there's something that you're building and developing as far as education and knowledge right now, but eventually that's going to take a physical form, right? Right now, it's got maybe it's got a little, maybe it's got some legs, maybe it doesn't at all. Maybe this is still in the idea phase. I'm getting that because our pentacle, it's like barely touching these fingertips, right? It's almost as delicate as a bubble, and it could just pop or float away. And we want it to be something super, super concrete, right? This throne looks super dense, super heavy. And our queen right here, she's got a real hand on it. And I like to see the graduation from a page into a queen. And I also like to see the transformation from this being very delicately in the hands here, going through alchemy, where it is suspended in the air and takes on a beautiful form, and then is very much in the hand, like really tangible. So you have an idea right now. Spirit wants you to act on that in a very tangible, physical way. So this could be taking a class, like I said, studying this on your own, practicing. There's a lot to do with dedication and little tiny steps right now being cumulative. It's going to add up to this over time. Cool, so let's move on. Let's take a look at what's important for you on your path, okay? Sorry you guys, I keep, when I'm, there might be other psychics in here, there's always like annoying stomach gas that comes up when I channel. I don't know what this is. It's just super hard because it's distracting. I'm trying to keep my voice from breaking or like a belch escaping, and it's just like, if this air could just sort itself out, that would be lovely. Thank you. Okay, so let's move forward. What's important for you on your path? I was just telling Pile 1 this. What I'm going to do is just use the cards that we have to look at this next lens. If I need to, I'll draw more cards, but I was just shown something a couple days ago where I don't need to always reach for new cards. There's a lot of information already in front of me. I think at times I get overstimulated and it really pulls me out of the reading. And so I might repeat things, but that's okay because I feel like, never mind, that's okay. It's just okay, okay? So let's look what's important for you guys. I think the first thing that's coming through is gaining a certain level of satisfaction in the small steps, in the baby steps, because they're cumulative and they take time. So there's something to do with cultivating and doing something really thoroughly, getting comfortable with time and things taking a long time to build. Something about being vulnerable as well and folding in the right measure of vulnerability and authentic experiences from your life without revealing too much, right? We don't want to give everyone everything. We don't want to show our whole hand. Okay, what was that? That was just a very clear message. You don't want to show all the cards that you're holding. Right? And I think what that means is that we have a tendency to reveal before something has fully incubated. That's interesting, and that's really important. It has something to do with this spiritual journey, this next cycle, your path in general. Something about baby steps, very small steps. Think about all these buildings here. They had to start with a plan first. An architect had to envision this and then put it on paper. Think of the difference between paper and the actual building and all that magic or alchemy that is in between. I call this card kind of like the alchemical moment, the magic, the time itself, I guess, coming through. And it's like I think that we get stuck in things moving slowly and in things taking time and just maybe being a little impatient. And so what's really important is to, I'm also hearing like to just play by the rules. Now, I'm an Aquarius. That's not something that usually resonates with me. I love to think outside the box, and I love an unorthodox approach to life. Now, what I'm seeing though for you guys is there's real lessons, maybe even karma, maybe not that deep for some of you. There's real magic in showing up every single day and dedicating to this thing that you're learning, this skill set, this knowledge set that you're growing. It's like maybe you're not the world's fastest reader and you have a 500-page book, and it's like you don't need to sit down and read that book cover to cover in one sitting. You know, some people can do that, but that doesn't qualify what success is. And there's something about like you really enjoying those 10 or 15 minutes before bed when you're reading that book, or in the middle of the day when you have 10 to 15 minutes to read that book and dedicate to it. There's something that's revealed to you as a lesson of sorts in this daily dedication, and something to do with feeling what is the word? Feeling satisfied with that dedication, right? I'm seeing like you're filling this is such a silly example, maybe to reveal something. You're filling a bucket with sand, right? But you can only put a scoop in every day. And something about that, right? I don't know what that was. Something about filling that bucket with sand. And, you could only do one scoop a day, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to fill that bucket. It's just going to take time, right? Maybe it's not that big of a bucket and it takes you a week, 7 days to fill it. Maybe it takes you longer than that. The point is the bucket's going to be filled with sand. You have the scoop and you have the sand and you have time. And I think that sometimes we mix all of that up and think that it has to be done immediately. There's something about delayed gratification. That's a theme. If I could list a theme, put a big old title for pile 2, what's next in your spiritual path, what's important for you on your path? Delayed gratification. Something taking shape over time. This huge castle and all these different windows, there's probably basements in there too, and that did not take shape overnight. Rome was not built in a day. That's really important. That's an important message, because my solar plexus and stomach is telling me so. Okay. What else can I see? What else is important for pile 2 on their path? Keeping your eye on the prize came through. Okay. I think that's all I'm getting from this. So let's move on to the next lens. I want to know what you guys should avoid. So the first thing that's coming through is like your level of emotional investment. I think something that would be good for you, though it seems kind of counterintuitive, is like a little bit of a detached interest in what you're doing, what you're building. I think sometimes we get this laser focus and we put a lot of expectation into what we're building, and I think that can kind of it can skew that. It can warp what we're doing and make it all about the end goal. Okay, so one message that's coming through is that the journey is just as important as the destination. And that's something I do bring up often on this channel. Think about climbing a mountain, and it's a 5-hour hike to the top, right? So you start out in the morning and it's 5 hours, you take a break. It ends up taking you 6 hours to get to the top, and you've got to make it down before nightfall. So you really can only spend an hour up there, maybe not even a whole hour. So what's more valuable? the 10 hours you spent hiking up and down, or maybe the 30 minutes at the top where you had the view. And it's like, because you have this Capricorn energy and you have this Page of Pentacles and we have this moment of turning a sketch into something physical and concrete, that entire process is it's everything. It's everything. Delayed gratification, and the process is worth so much more than the end goal. Those are big, big messages from Spirit. So let's go on. So how can you trust that you're on the right path? Let's reach for another deck. This is for pile 2. Oh. 7 of Wands and an Ace of Swords. Ooh, okay. So I don't really agree with this definition. This 7 of Wands calls it defense. No, 7 of Wands to me talks about working with new energy. And I feel like that's what we're highlighting here. So something that you can trust that you're on the right path. Sorry, another message coming in real quick is that you totally know that you are. You have the Ace of Swords, so you have ultimate clarity. There's no doubt in my mind that you guys are on the right path. Let me skip back though to the 7 of Wands with working with new energy. And I think that one way that you guys can trust that you're on the right path is that you're willing to experiment. You're willing to try different approaches and you're not attached to the outcome. You're just trying to see how this approach works. And I could also pare back this reading to look at the Page of Pentacles to say that is an approach, right? It is a little bit beginner's mindset. It's a gentle approach, right? He's got a very, very gentle touch. And that talks to me about feminine energy and not masculine energy. And so there's something coming through about working with energy as it shifts through your life and being willing to experiment with different approaches. Sometimes we feel like we're filled with a lot of masculine energy. We've got a lot of drive, a lot of excess energy, a lot of willpower, and we really feel like we can make a lot of moves and take a lot of action, make things happen. Other times we don't have that kind of energy. Sometimes we just really don't feel like doing a lot physically, making moves, but we could be in a different approach, which would be a gentle approach. So instead of making things happen, maybe we're learning something new instead. Instead of getting out there, getting our hands dirty, or actually having our nose in a book, or listening to someone else who has succeeded at this, and we're studying how they did it. I just heard that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's another really important message for pile 2. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. That does not make something unique, right? There is a big emphasis about you guys being unique and authentic, but you don't have to start from scratch with what you're building, because we got that message of you taking, that physics lecture, and then you design an experiment to test that knowledge to see if you can extract something unique, and then you reveal that. That example was really meant to illustrate the fact that you don't need to go out there and learn physics for yourself. There's someone already out there who can teach you physics, and that's just our example. There's someone who's already done all that kind of footwork, and that's not cheating, that's evolution, right? Think about if we don't need to invent the alphabet every single time a baby is born, right? That would just be so reductive. We're supposed to leapfrog the master. That's another thing coming through. There's real growth in this next phase of your life where you're mastering something. You're really stepping up into a very different power and energy and confidence. You're dealing with a new form of energy. You're transforming from a page into a queen. That's a lot. It skips the knight in between. And I'm not saying it's really skipping it. That knight represents hard work and diligence and repetition. So all that still exists, but what we're trying to show you is that you're moving into a different way of being a totally new person on this spiritual path. So no need to reinvent the wheel. It's your launch pad. You're going to make your own stamp, but you don't have to. I think sometimes you get caught up and you try to do things in a totally different way. And that experimental approach is beautiful, but I feel like parameters exist for a reason. Sometimes if you're too wide open, you have too much infinite possibilities, it can be overwhelming to you. So start with what you know, start with what already exists, and don't be too concerned about that not being 100% original. I hope that message makes a lot of sense, you guys. Yeah, these messages that what you can trust, that you're on the right path. Something else that's coming through is just clarity with that Ace of Swords. One way you can trust this path is that you don't have any sort of mental quandaries? One of those words is right. You're not doubting things. You're not trying to put all your apples in, what is this, eggs in one basket. You're not worried about this. You have a lot of mental clarity. You know where you're going. You know how long it's going to take. You're not trying to solve everything at once. And you also do have focus with the Ace of Swords. And I feel like I'm hearing right action, but it's in like the Buddhist sense. I'm not really familiar with that. It kind of bores me. But if you guys are curious about that, you could read about that. Something to do with right action, right speech. There's something there. It's spiritual in nature. And guys, if I have spent many past lives as a monk. That's something that's been revealed to me by a shaman. And so it makes so much sense because if you've been on this channel a while, I roll my eyes at monks because how boring. But it's not against them. It's just like, that doesn't even make sense to me. You're here to experience the 3D. Like, why would you cut yourself off from so many experiences to connect with the divine when you are divine? And once you leave this plane, all you are going to be is divine. So you might as well enjoy the 3D realm while you're here. Now, sorry to go off on that tangent. For you guys, how can you trust that you're on the right path? I think we kind of got that one. So let's move forward and wrap this up with one last lens. I want to ask for a message from your spiritual team. Okay, so maybe we can just move those cards here, and I'm gonna reach for these. So this is for pile 2. Spirit, what do you have for pile 2? Kind of all about this path. And this path, I'm not reading this actually as like your overarching path through life. It's almost just like just this next lesson or one. You have rain with purification. Let's just go a little deeper. Rain with purification. Okay. I'm not really getting a big hit on that. What are you? Okay. So there's definitely something in your energy body that is a low vibration that we need to get rid of. Okay. This is a turning point for you. These are very much the same energy if you know tarot at all. So the 5 of Cups is pretty dense, pretty sad, pretty emotional, grief-stricken card. But, a twin message from these is no rain, no flowers. Okay, so if this figure could just drop this cloak of despair and turn around, there are 2 cups that have not spilt. Okay. Tough love message coming through. Cry a river, build a bridge, and get over it, right? Because it leads you to what looks like a nice, cute little home over there. Now, I'm not trying to be rude or know your situation whatsoever, but with the 5 of Cups, there is something in your energy body that we really need to purify, okay? And I did talk about a shaman who can do a soul retrieval or a cord cutting, or if you have enough willpower, you can do your own cord cutting. Okay, So something that just needs to be doctored or addressed. This is going to look a little bit different for each of you. Maybe this could be simple, like doing a salt scrub more regularly, saging yourself more regularly. Spirit also just wants you to be aware of your emotional body and recognize when you might be wearing someone else's energy. Because there's a real message coming through with this Queen of Cups, with these angels talking about authenticity and the uniqueness of your expression, your soul, you, pile 2, listening to this right now. And we want to make sure that you always wear that, right? Because look how beautiful that is. So cool. Compared to this black, bleak gown, there's something very colorful about you, something very ornate, something very intricate, complex, and beautiful about your expression and how you do you in life. And I think that we could be wearing someone else's energy, or there's just something that we want to sort of get out of, right? Kind of let this not be on us anymore. And that could be just like doubt about a path because it takes so long, right? But that's something that it's really important, as we already illustrated, about your path is a slow and steady approach, a slow burn as well. Let's draw one final card. I want to draw an animal spirit guide for pile 2. Okay. So for pile 2, what animal spirit guide wants to speak to pile 2? Oh, the hummingbird. Oh my goodness, you guys. That's beautiful. You have joy. You have literally joy. The hummingbird represents joy and harmony and beauty and love. You also have a master number 44. You guys might be seeing 44 repeating. That is a confirmation from your spiritual team that you are divinely protected, okay? This looks like a giant piece of black tourmaline, which to me talks about psychic protection. I'm just going to show you mine. I'm just going to take the pendant off. Does that not look very reminiscent of a piece of black tourmaline? So this could be a message from your spirit guides just to remind you that you are divinely protected. Okay, I think sometimes you might feel the presence of souls near you or a negative energy, and it's time to just become aware of that and to let that go. For some reason, Spirit's using this reading in this space and time to clarify or to illustrate this message, because you are this beauty, right? The hummingbird represents beauty and the gorgeous reflective iridescence of their feathers. You're not this cloak of blackness, despair, sorrow, right? You are this ornate, right? I said there's something ornate about you, and there's nothing more ornate or beautiful or intricate or authentic as the reflective, kind of mirrory, jewel-toned color to hummingbird feathers. And so what Spirit's showing me is that it's really important to remind yourself from time to time how beautiful you are. And even if you're going after something that takes a long time and you haven't reached the top of that mountain yet, it's important not to kind of equate success and achievement with your soul, right? Your soul isn't here to achieve. Your soul isn't here to be famous, be well known. Your soul is here to just express itself. That's it. That's it. Nothing more. To sort of express itself in the closest way that it can towards being authentic and not wearing anyone else's energy or taking forms that are not authentic to you. That's it. That's just the essence of what you're here to do. Okay? And the hummingbird is also here as a message from Spirit to say, there is this little magic moment. Timelines are going to vary, but for all of us, and I think it's in less than a week is what I'm being shown. So there's going to be this little moment of just, whoa, right? That's so beautiful. Some of you might have hummingbird as one of your totem animals, but it could be like the most incredible sunset, and you weren't even going to go outside, or usually don't go outside at that time, but you step outside and there's just cotton candy skies as far as the eye can see. Or you're walking on a trail or a beach and there's just this most incredible pebble that you pick up and you're like, dang, that is beautiful. And it stays on your windowsill for the next 10 years or something like that. There's going to be this moment of magic that the spirit of the universe is going to express for you just to kind of like awaken you, right? And I think that's something very beautiful to look forward to. Okay, so this is the end of your reading pile 2, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. If you liked this reading, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. I really appreciate that. It helps me go so far in the land of YouTube. Of course, I do book private clients. If you'd like to book your own private psychic reading, you can find that information down below. Or if you'd like to book your own video much like this, I do a bunch of different themes using tarot, and you can purchase that in video, text, or audio format. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, stay divine. Hey, Pile 3, welcome to your reading. I hope you guys are doing so well today. Just a little FYI, I'm recording with natural light, so if it gets dark, that might happen. That might happen because it's winter. I'm in the northern hemisphere, and right around this time of day, the sun fades. But I had you guys to do my last pile today, so just a little heads up, it might get a little dark and spooky, but hey, that's always fun. Okay, so what are we doing? Today I wanted to introduce you guys to what's next on your spiritual path, and we're going to take a look at a bunch of different lenses, so let's just begin. Okay, you guys have the Nine of Swords. Now, what I'm sensing is 2 messages with this one. And I feel like one of them has to do with spirituality in the sense of astrology, dreams, and psychic visions. And the other one has to do with anxiety. And the big one that's coming through is disconnected thoughts. I feel like sometimes you guys think that you're not like good people or you don't have like a pure heart, and that is just simply not true. And if that doesn't feel super resonant, then it's this concept of like disconnected thoughts where random like scenarios will come into your mind as a flash of insight, and it could be really gruesome, and you're like, what the heck? Like, why would spirit show me that? Why would that thought come into my mind? And sometimes they're just disconnected, right? They're debris is what's coming through. And I feel like the next spiritual or the next concept that's going to be on your spiritual path has to do with recognizing fear and shutting that down, because it does not belong in your body. It is not a vibration that your body can hold. It's not natural. It's man-made, and it's a product of our experiences through life, okay? But you're going to be victorious with this, Pile 3, because you have the number 9, and 9 is the number of success. Now, here's another message that comes through with this card. I'm going to give you guys a quick little anecdote. I was in a graduate school program in Savannah, Georgia, and it was not my top school. I had another top school. And while I was there, I was on the verge of just being like, this ain't it, okay? And one night I was dreaming, and I just woke up out of the dream into consciousness with full clarity, and there was one thought on my mind, and it was like, apply to your dream school, which is Cal Arts. And I just remember like reaching over to my desk beside my bed and scribbling on a piece of paper like Cal Arts, or like apply to Cal Arts or something like that, and then going back to bed. And I woke up that next day and I had all this new energy, all this conviction, and it was like I was super focused. The deadline was like in one day, And I had to ask professors for letters of recommendation. I had to put together a portfolio. I had to fill out an application. I had to write an artist statement and do all these different things. And I just had boatloads of energy because I had that precision, that clarity of thought. It was like an epiphany, a flash of insight in the middle of the night. And it really set me on a completely different path. And I think that's perhaps what Spirit is showing me, is that you guys are going to have some glimpse into the future or some moment. I'm seeing like two magnets just being like sucked together and just like clicking into place. There's going to be something like that that just really clicks into place for you and launches you in a different direction. I think that this could be a flash of insight in the middle of the night, just like what happened to me. Okay, that seems to be like the bigger energy that's coming through. But let's just reiterate real quick that message about fear and anxiety and insecurity and disconnected thoughts. Because when those come to mind, those are never meant to discourage you or rob you of your energy. It's literally the exact opposite. It's just that the universe works in very ironic ways. When those energies come to the surface, it's actually your higher self or your spiritual team trying to get you to step into your authentic power. Now, why would they do that? Why would they flood you with fear, anxiety, insecurities, grief, doubt, disconnected thoughts, all that? Why? It's because you have to recognize when that's happening and why. Why? Because it's robbing you of your power. And further than that, it's a decision. You do not need to circle the drain with that same scenario, that same gloom doom scenario that you think everything is against you, the world is out to get you, and everything's going to fail. What are the odds of you actually being successful in this incarnation? You're meant to step out of that cycle and to break that bond that you have with those fears and insecurities. Because remember, fear is not natural to the human body. It doesn't exist in the universe. It is a byproduct of being human and living in the world that we live in, and all sorts of self-limiting beliefs and all of that kind of energy. It's a product of doubt and other people's lack of conviction of the self, which is why Spirit shows those to you, because they have to get you on board with recognizing that you choose your thoughts. And if you choose your thoughts, no one is more powerful than you. No one can ever stop you. That is why we have the number of 9, success. No one can ever take advantage of you if you recognize that fear is happening, or that insecurity is happening, or that doubt or self-limiting beliefs are happening, or you're circling the drain of some story. This could be a message about telling yourself a different story to get out of that. It's just Spirit's way of getting you to step into your power as an individual spark of consciousness, okay? That's super important. So when those ideas flood to the surface, you say, very practically, why is this here? What's going on? How is this going to serve me? What is this doing? Does it actually need to be in my body right now? And if not, you just say, bye. You know, some people are like, thank you. And I'm like, I don't need to say thank you. I'm just going to say, no, you're not here. I don't need that. Ooh, 2777. Wow. You also have my favorite card come up. I'm sorry, I need to close that thought. So just recognize that, send those thoughts on their way, and be the vibration that you want to experience, which is one of happiness, okay? And at least just neutral, right? Fear, insecurity, self-doubt, guilt, those are low vibration. That is below neutral. And I think at the very least we can be neutral. Okay, so moving forward, what's next on your spiritual path, or sorry, in summary, there is some magic moment of a flash of insight, some aha moment, or quite literally, you're going to be woken up in the middle of the night with this thought, or with a very thought-provoking dream. I want you to write that dream down, whether you reach for your phone and you just do notes and just scribble it down in your notes, or if you do like the audio voice recording where you just record. Even if it's jarbled, you're gonna get something out and you're gonna be able to piece that together in the morning. If you're capable or you don't mind waking yourself up, try writing it in long form and try to get to the bottom of it then. That might help you. Sorry guys, I had to sneeze. Okay, so I wanted to flesh out this reading, and 2 cards came out for you guys. You have the moon in Libra, the sun in Libra with harmony, and then you have the moon in Libra. Oh, that's why I stumbled there. Wow, you have the sun and the moon in Libra, light and dark in the sign of balance, okay? And opposing forces and logic and truth and reason, at least in my mind. Okay, so what I'm seeing here are all these little birds, and to me they talk about messages and maybe even messengers. Okay, so I feel like there's something about signs everywhere, okay, in the stars is coming through. So this might be a little bit of a message for you guys to do a little bit of a research on your astrological placements. There might be something there. You might look into Chiron, because I get concepts about healing, so you might look into Chiron. And you might just look to see what's if there are any planets in the sign of Libra and what that might reveal for you. Okay, so what's next in your spiritual path? I see a concept of either friendships or I think a significant other. 2 sevens. Sevens talk to me about divine knowledge or spiritual knowledge. So this could be a spiritual individual, a spiritual friend, someone who shares similar ideas or ways of thinking as you do. Let's get a crack at this. I didn't do this for the other piles, but let's just see what's next. You know, I just see you as becoming this person, and this person right here who is completely nude and so handsome. You guys, is my favorite card. So handsome in nature, you know, just reaching out so gently towards the birds. It just feels like that person is bearing their soul and they're at one with themselves. And a person who embodies those qualities is one who's able to use self-discrimination and discernment to recognize when ideas that don't belong to them are flooding them. And then they can remove them from their energetic body and remain in harmony and to be pure. Okay. There is also this other message over here with companionship with the moon in Libra. And I feel like there's something about you being less combative and just owning your energy and your vibration. I think it's about to attract a partner in your life. This person could be a companion in a platonic sense, or it could be romantic. Oh, we have the Queen of Cups with kindness. See, that's that double message that I'm getting. There's something about you being a lot more gentle and emotionally capable to hold a lot more. So I feel like it's an empath coming on board with their spiritual abilities. And that would very much be necessary for you to recognize when fear or low vibrations enter the body so that you can get rid of them and don't hold on to them. That to me talks about an empath or an extra sensitive person. I think that you guys could be awakening to your extra sensitivities. I'm also, though, getting that message. The Queen of Cups definitely represents romance and definitely represents a long-standing commitment or relationship. And I think that's something coming on your path. I kind of want to stay on topic though. I'm curious about that person for you guys, but that's not really the focus for today. Just be aware of that, okay? I like to see that. Now, there is another lens I want to look at for you guys, and it's what's important for you on your path. Let's look into that. You know, the first thing that I'm picking up on is the 2 sevens and just like all the birds, okay? And all of the constellations and roses here. I think that signs and symbols and synchronicities, I think those are important for you because they help you develop discernment, okay? I think if I could warp this lens a little bit and ask also what should you avoid on your path, it's like overly looking for the signs and symbols because I'm seeing that some of these birds are flying towards the figure and some of them are flying away. And that to me talks about kind of like a jumbled energy. Some that also can talk about disconnected thoughts too. And so I think like discerning between your intuition, truth, logic, messages from your spirit guides, I think that you might have a tendency to be bombarded with lots of thoughts on the mental realm. And so something that is important for you on your path is to strengthen your mind and your resolve and to know at all times where you are, who you are, what you're doing, and how you're feeling, okay? That's why the Queen of Cups is out. It's so important for you guys to recognize how you're feeling and when your vibration has been brought down and what things you can do to bring your vibration up. And I think that learning a lot about astrology or about spirit in general, I think that that would be very useful to you, considering that we have 2 sevens here, okay? Let's see, what else what's important for pile 3 spirit? Friendships. I think friendships are really important for you. I think at times you guys feel your best when you're on your own, but there's something about a group of at least like 4 of you, 4 including you, where it really brings out the best. And it's like you don't have to be everything all at once when you're in this group of people. And it helps like the best parts of you come out. I also think that for some of you, it's companionship or, through connections with people that you're going to make abundance and prosperity in this lifetime. And I'm saying that because there are hands shaking here with a pomegranate, but also shafts of wheat. And then if you could look at this as a laurel crown, a sign of victory and success. And so I feel like, and it's not my favorite message, gosh, either. I feel like connections and relationships with people are how you get the majority of your success in this lifetime. Yeah. Kind of like a career sense. Something else that's important for you to remember on your path is this, the balance of up and down. That's why you have 2 messages about Libra here. And to remember that things that happen to us throughout life can be seen as baggage or ballast, right? So this ship right here, it's in full sail. If it didn't have any ballast on board, it would topple. It would keel right over. The wind would just blow it straight over or spin it in a circle. But because it has weight on board, because it has ballast, it's heavy enough to be able to use that wind and to be able to be propelled forward. And so hold, I think, negative memories from the past. Try to give them a special place in your mind or your heart, because anything that you've gone through and grown out of, it's always an attempt to make you stronger. Try to always remember to look at life through a higher perspective, like a soul's perspective. This is, to me, talking about escaping ideas of victimhood. Okay, that's a very, very risky slope to be in. And I'm saying this very gently, okay? So I'm not trying to take away from your experiences, but it's all about a choice, okay? 2, duality, a choice. There's always a choice to feel like something happened to you and you got to hold that in your vibration forever, or to let that go, to choose to let that go. So there might be something in your life right now that you have to identify, pile 3, that you've been holding on to for too long, and it's sucking on you like an energy vampire. It could be a person or some event that happened to you, an embarrassment or something worse than that. And you're not that person and you're not experiencing that at present, hopefully not. Okay, so it's time to let that leave your energy field so that you can experience a little bit of a lighter energy to get you back up to neutral, right? We want to make sure that you guys are neutrally buoyant, at least at neutral, not holding any lower level vibrations like anxiety, guilt, grief, depression, any of those thoughts, fear, insecurities, things of that nature. We don't need to hold those in our vibration because focusing on them brings more of that to us. And I just think that Spirit is trying to tell you right now that what's really important for you to recognize on your path is when you're holding on to those feelings and emotions, and that they're not meant to ever burden you or bring you down. The exact opposite. They're meant to shine a light on how powerful you are, but that power is only revealed, it's very ironic, by doing that decision, making that effort to get rid of that energy or fear and insecurity from your being. What I'm getting from this gorgeous human right here as a concept is like a reminder of your beauty as a soul, right? When you leave this earth plane, you don't take low-level vibrations or memories with you because they're not useful. And you hold on to the positive, happy experiences because those are fuel. Any other experience is like a hole in the bucket that'll just drain you of your energy, and you leave this plane as whole. So what Spirit is showing me is to remind you guys of your beauty. So this could be really talking to yourself more kindly. Some of you have an inner saboteur that we need to just silence. Some of us have an energy vampire in our life that we just need to wake up to and become aware of. Okay, some of us could have overbearing mother figures. Is another message coming through. Ace of Swords, clarity of thought. Okay, so let's move forward. How can you trust that you're on the right path? How can you trust? How can you trust that you're on the right path? I feel like the first thing that's coming through is that you are surrounded by friends and family, and that doesn't burden you. You can think of concepts like friends and family and get-togethers and the holidays, and it doesn't make you anxious. If it makes you anxious, again, that is the universe trying to help you by shining a spotlight on you. And that spotlight actually is the feeling of fear or insecurity or anxiety about that get-together. So, you know, some of you celebrate holidays during this time of year, and if you have get-togethers that you do out of obligation but don't want to, this is your turn to bring that to light and to voice how you feel about this, because you don't have to experience that just because society says that you have to, right? I loathe Christmases with my adopted family because I just don't resonate with those people anymore. And I used to feel so guilty about that, but I don't anymore because I'm not supposed to feel something so ugly and negative that brings down my vibration. And I have voiced for years to try to get people in that house to be different and to show up differently and to at least be a neutral being instead of a negative energy vampire, and it never worked. So you gotta leave it behind eventually. And that is a tough message. I'm not trying to sell that as anything less than difficult, because there are some difficult truths I see coming to light, but Spirit has so much faith in you. That's why they're giving you this message. They would never, ever are trying to bring you down. It is always through compassion that the other side works. And again, why? It's because when you pass on from this plane, you don't take anything dense with you. It's simply too heavy. It doesn't stay in that, or it can't rise to that dimension. It's got to stay here in the heavy 3D. Yeah, I'm feeling that it's less important to clarify that message of how can you trust that you're on the right path. I want to move past that into kind of like the final lens for you guys, and this is a message from your spiritual team. So what I'm going to do is clear the table. First thing I'm going to get is a card from here. Again, this is a message from your spiritual team. I love to see the dawn with new beginnings. And do you know what is so beautiful? Look at this card of harmony. And literally what came out for you guys? Isn't that bizarre? And the birds, isn't that bizarre? Wow, that's so beautiful. So I feel like your spiritual path, this is a message from your spiritual team. You might want to just listen to this reading over again. And again, I'm just trying to give you very, very practical advice. When you recognize these messages or if they resonate with you, this could simply be a confirmation from your spiritual team. But if these messages, when they resonate, when you recognize what fear feels like and how we can sometimes do things because we feel like we have to out of an obligation, when we recognize when we're not being authentic, over time that becomes so glaringly obvious that we can identify and treat it immediately. As a result, you start to glow, literally start to glow, because your vibration rises. You become more angelic and crystalline. I think that you guys are about to experience an amazing, beautiful dawn of your life. This next cycle, this spiritual path moving forward, it has happiness and harmony and new beginnings written all over it. It feels very gentle. It feels very soft, very compassionate, very kind. If you guys love to sing, you should sing. I get that message as well. Yeah. This is a message from your spiritual team. I'm also just hearing, because we have all of these birds, I'm going to, I didn't do this for the other piles, but I'm going to draw, where's my silver bowl? I really don't, I don't know where that is. I feel like there might be another message here. I'm going to let it come out, but I'm going to pull some of these too. I just need something to draw them. And so we're just going to use this cigar box. Okay. Is that all of them? All right. Okay, because there's just so many little birdies there. I feel like I really want to grab some messages. Okay, so the first one. Nope, I looked. I'm sorry, you guys. Here, let's do this. First one, join the club. To me, that talks about companionship again. Let's draw out one more before I go into that. I'm going to just draw and away. Okay. So this join the club, to me, talks about that card we got. Where is it? Did that fall? My God, you guys, I'm sounding so sloppy now. I literally don't know where that card went. You guys saw, though, you had the card of companionship. Where in the world did that go? Okay. Anyways, it talks to me about friendship, and it talks to me about maybe reaching out and like quite literally joining a club. This could be like a Zumba class. If that's not your cup of tea, try to understand that that's just one example. There is something that in your life that you could join that's along that line, where it's a regular meeting up, a bunch of people. This could be like making a book club for you. This could be a little club for other spiritual people in your life. As well. Maybe some of you want to join a choir. You've been thinking about joining a choir or thinking about joining a band or starting a band. That comes through as well. With away written so beautifully in this script, it gives me the energy of an Airbnb or a vacation or this right here, this new beginning. I just see you guys in a little canoe, and right now we're at this little threshold where we're leaving behind this dark water, and I see the bow of the boat just barely reaching into this golden water right here where the sunlight reaches. And the sun definitely wants to come out and reach for pile 3. And I think it's because there are those messages about energy vampires and belief systems and inner saboteurs and creating a filter for yourself to recognize low vibrational thoughts or energy beings. There could also be a medium in here who is not used to connecting with spirit or when spirits contact them. And so what you can simply do is command that all spirits stop talking to you, except your spirit guides. Those will always be with you. And then eventually over time, once you develop this filter, you're going to be able to accept positive energy only. Okay, so Spirit's telling me also real quick, there definitely is a medium in this pile, that you can just ask the Spirit immediately, the very first, from the get-go, are you a positive spirit? And you will feel in your body yes or no. If it's a no, you command them with all the authority of your being, and your spiritual team will back you up. If it is a positive spirit, just play it out. If you're not getting anywhere, just again ask your spiritual team to take care of that for you, and they will. Okay, so what I'm getting though is this, just the bow of the boat, just breaking into this golden light. I feel like some of you are coming out of the cave, coming out of the dark night of a soul, coming out of Saturn Returns. I think that's energy for you. And you're about to enter this period of your life, the next 7 years, I just heard, where things are they just flow. There's no one anymore taking from your energy, robbing you, warping your perspective of yourself. I see some of you changing your appearance, going through a glow up, just simply feeling in your body beautiful and pure and angelic. This person just makes me think of Apollo. And I think that you're just going to feel like your intelligence again. You're going to feel smart. You're going to feel like you have access to the qualities that are innate to your soul. There's a difference between someone walking around as a human and someone remembering that they are a soul having a human experience. And that latter person is very, very powerful. I think that you may have been going through navigating some changes in your life too. And of course, during that process, there's all sorts of ideas about self-doubt and insecurities. And, that's the nature of change. It's your body's trying to protect yourself from experiencing potential danger and hazard. And that is a little bit the messy process of change. And I think you're breaking through that because the boat, it's hitting the golden light. And there's this new chapter of your life, this spiritual path. Next on your spiritual path is a period of happiness and light and harmony where things are in balance in your life. We had 2 messages about Libra. We even had the sun and the moon in Libra. And so it feels like your emotional body and your intelligence body, spiritual body and physical body, all of those are becoming to be in harmony. You're able to sort out emotions. You're able to get a grip on your mind. You're in better health, and you have a much more clear spiritual connection as well. Wow, this was a beautiful reading. I've really enjoyed it. Pile 3. Sorry if it's a little bit dark. What else? Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. Of course, I do book private clients, and you can book your own private psychic reading below. You also can purchase a private video, much like this. I can do a whole bunch of different tarot readings. There are options if you just check out the links below in either video, audio, or text format. And I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, stay divine.